Welcome back to the Sound-Centric Podcast. I am your host, Adam Dash, and today I'm joined by a man who's been behind a lot of my music for the past 5 years of my life, one of your favorite producers out there, 15,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, working with so many phenomenal artists. Lim0, welcome to the show.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. I'm excited too. Before we fully get into your background of how you started making beats, I'm going to hit you with some quick fire questions, and that can kind of give us a better idea of your background. First one, hopefully you've listened to the album already, but Vultures or Donda?
So I've skimmed Vultures just a little bit. I wouldn't say I've fully formed, I haven't really sat down and listened front to back all the way through. So I'm not going to give a full album review on it right now. So I'm gonna say Donda just to be a little safe, I guess. But yeah. I've had more time to sit with that album and run it back more times. But I've seen Vultures getting a ton of talk. So I mean, rightfully so. And it's Kanye, so anytime he's doing something, it's in the news. But it's definitely a different time, a different era of Kanye, and that has some stuff elsewhere. But gotta get too deep into that. So
yeah. As a producer, I'm curious, when you listen to an album for the first time, what do you hear? For me, I feel like I end up focusing on words on my first listen. What's it for you?
For me, it depends on the artist, I'd say. But in general, I would say, usually the beats. Usually I'll hear more from a production standpoint, and then kind of from there, definitely I would say that the lyricist, the rapper, kind of how the whole world for the album comes together, how cohesive it is. But I think since I started making beats, it's definitely shifted to more on the production side and listening and just little small intricacies within beats and stuff like that. Or samples, even if it's that type of record. I'm really trying to listen for the chop, listen for how they flipped it, stuff like that.
So going off, the guy's the best chopper probably ever with Kanye West. What is your favorite produced Kanye album?
Favorite produced Kanye album? It might be Life Pablo.
Really?
It might be.
I'm surprised based on the music you make that it's Life of Pablo.
Yeah, I think it's just a really cool world on that album. Every time I listen back to it, because you have stuff from pretty much drumless beats on not quite drumless, but more minimal style, no more parties in LA, or Madlib production, or even just some crazy songs 30 hours,
fire song.
And then the standard Kanye, or not standard, but more traditional anthemic stuff still on that album. I feel just a pretty good mixture. I feel it's hard to go wrong though with
definitely
that run of albums. You can't really say oh, that album was poorly produced. Pretty much everything in that era, or for that 10 years, whatever it was, pretty much it. So
I think it's the perfect mix between old Kanye and then what we're getting from Kanye now with the more trap stuff. I feel it's the album where he stopped being forward pushing and was kind of doing what was popular with the trap stuff. He still did it at the highest level because he's Kanye West. But then we still had songs like No More Parties in LA and 30 Hours. And those are the beats I love. For me, I think I got to go Late Registration. I think it has so many.
It's classic. Keep going.
We Major. That beat might be, I think, the best beat ever, but Drive Slow. I think every beat on there could be debatably Kanye's best beat ever.
True. Yeah. I also think about it from what I listen back to the most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do think those beats are probably definitely more technical in terms of from the chop and stuff more the flips on that are probably more in depth and doing more to the sample. I would agree with that. Yeah. No, but that era of Kanye was different, backpack rap and stuff.
Beast. Okay. Who would you rather have as a feature on your song? Honestly, give me a ranking of these three people. You got Ty Dolla, BJ the Chicago Kid, or Anderson .Paak. I feel those are the three king of features on a hip hop album.
Yeah. I feel Anderson probably the number one.
I agree.
Yeah, just like I love his stuff. He's crazy. Um, I love VJ the Chicago Kid, but I have to go Ty Dolla too, and him and VJ3. Yeah,
Today,
they're all fire though. Like I got song. I don't have songs with any of them, but I have songs that I've listened to
yeah,
back many times with all of them on it. So yeah,
I was having a nice Freddie Gibbs day at the gym, and I was bumping Shame, and he's just BJ. Just like he makes every song better. He's incredible.
yeah. It's just like a good very like soulful feeling on
Yeah.
that record.
So this next question, this isn't a new thing in hip hop whatsoever. It's been around forever, but it's become very popular thanks to people like Madlib and The Alchemist. So which of these out of these three combos, which rapper producer album would you rather get in the future? This one I've been preaching for a while. Tyler, the creator, produced album for Lil Wayne. Alchemist produced album for JID, or Kanye produced album for Benny the Butcher.
Those all sound crazy. Like honestly,
Right?
those would all be sick.
I was proud of
Yeah,
that question.
like that'd be a fun like some fun drops to listen through. I mean, I might have to go Alchemist and Jid.
Wow,
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised. I didn't think that'd be the one
I
you
feel like
chose.
that'd be crazy
It would be.
because I feel like Alk like he approaches like he'll go outside his comfort lane and like adjust to the artist he's working with, but not in like a standard way. Like he'll make a trap beat like 50 BPM or like something like
Yeah.
just super different, like in his own like unique experimental like just different style, but like and that can bring out something new out of the lyricist or out of the artist in that way. And I just I love Alk and
He's the
like
goat.
how he flips samples and stuff. Yeah, I met him at a record store once and I was just like, yo,
Wow. What'd you say?
appreciate you. I said like, yo, appreciate you, like love your beats. Just kept it pushing. I didn't want to like drag him to
Yeah.
like he was buying records and stuff in a busy store. It was on record store day, so pretty crowded in there. But no, yeah, shout out Alk.
I would have been stalking him from a distance trying to see what samples he was grabbing.
No, I was like looking at his stack. He had like 150 records underneath his arm. Like it was the biggest stack of records I've ever seen. But it was cool because they had like a listening station, and then he was listening through records, and then he finished up, and then I was just happened to be in line next, so I got to use the same turntable that Alk was using right before. So I was like, dang, that's pretty sick. I wonder if like he found any like samples that he went on to like make songs out of
Yeah.
from that session.
That'd be
I don't
crazy.
know. I saw a clip of him one time. He was talking. I think it was for the drum broker for one of his drum kits. He was saying like, "I wish I had a MPC like in the record store so I could just like make the beat right when I hear it because like the inspiration sometimes just like strikes there and then you don't hear it again. You might not hear it the same way later on. I don't know.
That'd be an interesting idea for a record store to kind of make a back room that's a studio, knowing that they have famous producers or people go in. That'd be. I think you're onto something. You should start that up.
Yeah, because like especially or like you could do so many things with it. Like you could throw events and whatever if you
Yeah.
had like a space
Listening
more
party,
attached to it.
something.
Yeah, totally.
My first song ever when I was 15 was over Kicking the Door, and I got DJ Premier to listen to my first song ever, and he was like, "Brother, thank you for doing this. You were rhyming off beat," and I didn't even care that I was rhyming. I'm like, "The goat, listen to what I made." Just at the Primo,
Primo,
and
listen, I'm never gonna fail.
never gonna fail. That's the man. So next question regarding a man who has some of the best produced albums of all time, Freddie Gibbs. What is your favorite beat switch from Freddie?
For me, I think it would have to be Fake Names off of Bandana, but there's so many like just solid choices you could have. Like, oh, man, like it's just with Madlib and like yeah, you can't really go wrong with that.
Fake Names is like a crazy one because it's such a change up in sound where it's like, what the hell
Like the
is that?
flute coming in at the end is
Oh
like,
my God.
oh my god, so good.
But but I think Blackest in the Room, the way it transitions, it fits so well with how the beat's going and the way his vocal inflection, like he gets angry as the beat kind of gets angrier. So I think that
Yeah,
might be the cleanest one, but not necessarily like the best one. But
true.
I love a good
Like
beat
half main,
switch.
half cocaine is like just like a fun
Yeah,
song.
yeah,
Also, just
yeah,
like never heard a Madlib trap beat before. That was like the first time.
yeah. Knock white Jesus off that white horse.
Yeah.
So you're a man who, I mean, this is just how marketing works with YouTube, that you have to do tight beats. It's just how it works. But a lot of your beats are either Madlib, J Dilla, Alchemist. Give us, and I know this might be hard for you. What is the top? Let's do top 4 producers for you, in order if you can. I know it's a hard choice though.
Yeah, for me, man, this is a hard choice because like it'll switch. But I would say like all time, for me, all time probably Madlib is my favorite. Like just in terms of how much I've listened to like his beat tapes and like the Beat Conductor series, all like that type of stuff. Like I'll run that all the time. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would say Alk probably 2 for me. Like I think this is the thing. Like I think Dilla is amazing, but in terms of just like my personal enjoyment, I have like them higher just
Yeah,
like the type of beats that I enjoy. But like Dilla is definitely a legend, so I gotta have him in there too.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to like not do like the Madlib Alchemist Dilla knowledge
Nah,
like
you're.
classic
It's just
just
how. It's
underground.
just how it
Like,
is.
I'm trying to think for 4. Um,
But I get you with the Dilla. It's like it's the same way that if you ask a huge rap fan, they say like Pac or Biggie in their top 5, even
mhm.
because they know that respectfully, like that those might be the best skill impact rappers of all time, but might not necessarily be what you listen to the most. So I'm not
Yeah,
like the hugest Tupac fan, although I can obviously acknowledge the importance he is to hip hop. So
yeah.
like
This
I
might
feel
be
like
a. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
I
off. Keep going.
sometimes throw Jay Dilla in my top 5, but I'm like I don't know if I listen to enough Jay Dilla beats that like he really is my top 5.
Yeah, exactly. Like honor, like definitely like in terms of like impact, but in terms of like what I listen to the most. Same thing with
Mm,
like the Doom. I've in the past I've probably listened to more like Metal Fingers beat tapes and stuff, but just like now I wouldn't say like it's like what I'm in. It's in my current rotation as much. And like
yeah.
for like 4th pick, I might pick like Kevin Parker, Tim
Okay.
Impala. Might be a little
Wow. Okay.
left field, into not as much hip hop, but I just think he's like it's not it's a pretty basic pick for music
Yeah.
in general, but he's just like so talented to be able to play everything, write everything, record it all.
Mhm. This is my most hidden music take. I've actually never heard Currents by Tame Impala, and I it's one of those albums that I know it's everyone's like favorite album when they've listened to it, and there's no reason why I should not have listened to it yet. And one
Yeah.
day I will be in the right situation. I'll put them headphones in, and I will become the most annoying music fan ever.
Yeah, yeah. Like the first few months after you listen to it, you're like, "Oh, this nothing else matters. this is
Whole
this is the best album of all
personality.
time." Yeah, that was like me in like 10th grade. I don't maybe not maybe it was a little later than that. I don't remember exactly when it was, but
Yeah.
no, you'll enjoy it. I think.
For my quick top 4, I feel like realistically Kanye is my favorite producer. Like it's not someone I immediately think of because I also love him outside of just his beats, his rapping too. But I think it's probably Kanye, and then I'll go
Mhm.
Primo because I think "Moment of Truth" by Gangstar is the best produced album ever. Then I will go Alchemist because obviously his amazing hits in the early 2000s, but right now what he's doing for hip
He's
hop
on a
and his
run.
collab, it's like at what point is it not even a run? Is it just a career? It's like when we talk about like
Yeah,
J. Cole features. It's like he's been doing it for so long. I don't know if it's a run or if he's just that good. The whole album of Larry June last year had some of the best beats I've ever heard in my life.
oh
Like
yeah, I love that album.
Palisades, California, '89 earthquake. I'm like, holy, this guy.
Yeah, no, he's crazy. Also, honorable mention to Earl
Great
Sweatshirt.
too.
Love his beats.
Also, I got to throw in Tyler. I think Tyler's such a
Yeah,
good producer.
exactly.
And I threw Lil Wayne in that for I think I've talked about this before. Listening back through old Wayne because I wasn't listening to Lil Wayne in 2008. I was 7 years old. But listening to him now, I don't love his beat choice particularly. I think he's one of the best rappers that's ever been there, but I think sometimes he choose some of his beats sound very 2000s ish, and now he's kind of
Yeah, they
just
might not age as well
yeah. But
compared to like some other stuff.
when he raps on
We'll keep
dropping
going.
seeds, or when he's rapping
Mhm.
on what's it called on Call Me If You Get Lost. I'm blanking at the name. But when he's on Tyler production, I'm like, he needs to do a whole album of this jazzy, flowery type beats. I think it'd be a classic album.
Yeah, I feel like even if it's just like an EP or something, it could be cool to see. I don't know if it would happen just because like based off like what I don't know like what they're both working. I feel like they're probably pretty
Yeah.
busy. But no, it'd be cool. I'd definitely listen to that.
So now let's get into how you started making beats. We have an idea of who your inspirations are, but what made you, I guess, what age, what made you actually start tapping the drum machine?
So I used to play this little backtracking. I used to play baseball most of my life, and then I got burnt out. Kind of fell in love with that, and I was 19. Yeah, it was like February 2020. So yeah, 19, and just started a type beat channel. And I was like, I'm bored. I'm gonna see what's happening. I was taking like a gap year from college, so I had a lot of time on my hands. And I was always a fan of music. I had a radio station. I didn't have a radio station. I had a show on my high school's radio station. Broadcasting music and stuff. So I always was into like listening to music, finding music, all that type of stuff. And then I was watching like stuff like The Cave from like Kenny Beats, and just like stuff like that made me start more interested in production. And then pandemic came around, so I had a lot more time on my hands and really just was spending I wouldn't say all day, but a good chunk of time making beats. Yeah, like at the beginning, like it was just on YouTube, like uploading type beats. At the beginning, I was like, some days it would be like 5, 6, 7 uploads a day, just like throwing anything out there, see like what would stick. This is like when I had like 100 or 200 subscribers, and now on my main channel I have like a little over 13,700, and then on my other channel, with my collab channel, I have like 200 something, but that's still getting off the ground. But I was just like throwing anything out there at that time. Now I try to upload a few times a week at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like really just kept it going from there. I was doing mostly like, I still do it now, but like chopped sample type beats, like Earl Sweatshirt type beats, more of that old school or like Joey Badass type beats, Madlib, Freddie Gibbs, etc. Like just like flipping samples and uploading that beat. Make the beat, upload it same day. Like nothing's in the vault. Like I'm making it and uploading it within 5 minutes. And like that was cool and all, and like I still do that occasionally, but since then it's been working, still doing that, but then also working more with artists more directly and like sending like making stuff from scratch. I work a lot with a lot of really talented sample producers and musicians. Guitarists, bass players, keyboards, horns players, etc. So it's like really cool to see like the development of it, I guess, like for the artist perspective, because now we can get like a fully not it doesn't sound exactly the same, but it's in our own way, but like a 70s or like 80s type sample or flip, but it's all from scratch and like all written by the homies, and it's more like original and not like you don't have like 500 other producers who have flipped the same sample and stuff like that. So it's fun, but yeah, just I don't even like know really what like type of genre I would say like I make mostly now. It's kind of hip hop definitely, but like jazz undertones just from like the people I kind of work with and stuff like that.
So I want to get into the business side of YouTube in a second and beat making. But so had you never made beats before you first started during that break from college?
Yeah, no, never really.
That's
I had like
wild.
opened Ableton a few times, but yeah, keep going, sorry.
Played around with it. It's wild because I must have been making beats to your first, or making songs to your first couple of beats, and the only thing, like you were very talented right away. Only thing now is that you're like the mixing on the beats is way better. Like I remember, like maybe it was loud in your ears or something, just because it's hard as hell to mixing is the hardest part in the beginning. But that's crazy. Did you always feel like you had that skill of picking good samples, or you knew like, oh, if you were listening to jazz music, you're like, oh, I would cut it here.
I get what you mean. Yeah, I feel like I always like, especially at the beginning, was more melody driven, or not melody driven, but more like the sample flip driven, like hearing more intricacies in that part. Because yeah, it definitely can take a while to get your drums sounding decent, and mixes also. And this was a good thing for me when I was like first starting out, is like drumless beats you really don't have to mix them that much. Um, like
Makes
it's
sense.
pretty
Yeah.
easy to mix because it's just a sample. Like you edit it and whatnot, but it's not. Yeah, you don't have tons and tons of layers going on. So those are pretty easy to mix at the start. But yeah, it was. I don't. It was just like. And yeah, I try, hopefully my mixes are better now. I try. I try.
They are.
Thank you. I'm glad been tapped in. So.
Sorry to pull you away from the interview, but it's time to give a big shout out to SoundCentric's first sponsor ever, artist manager and entertainment executive Ian Schwartzman. Make sure you go check out Ian's new amazing roll call series that you can find on all of his social media platforms right here. It shows artists, managers, or any music industry professionals ways to navigate the industry with topics like major labels versus independent labels, licensing versus publishing, and topics like that. I've really enjoyed it and I've learned so much, and I think you will too. Now back to the episode. So, do you have any advice for someone who is starting to make beats and the way to go about posting on YouTube? Do you think you built this pretty strong following because you're uploading 7 times a day in that initial period? Or do you look back and say, I could have let it sit for a day and maybe release just the best stuff?
Yeah, I think more the latter, and also like finding a consistent thing that works for you, and like communicating that to the people who subscribe to you. For a while, I would say a good chunk over a year, like a year and a half, I was doing pretty much daily uploads, just one a day, and that seemed to work pretty good. I don't think you have to do daily, but just like having something that you stick to roughly. And I need to do a better job of that on my main channel right now, but on like my collab channel with my homie Yeti, we've been posting just beats that we've been making together, and we've been pretty good about posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week on there. So and like that channel has like 220 subscribers, and it'll get the same amount of views as a channel posted on a video posted on my main channel. Just because YouTube at the moment for type beats, I haven't found a ton of success in the last few months on there. Been more working with artists and stuff. I think maybe I just need to put more time into it. But yeah, historically it's been like especially during the pandemic. I think more. This is just a conspiracy theory I have on the YouTube type beat stuff. But I think like during the pandemic, people had a lot of time and stimulus checks and stuff like that. I don't think that was the directly leads to people buying beats, but like I feel like people were definitely on YouTube a lot. Not that they aren't now, but I don't know. I still people have tons of success on there. So I don't want to sound like I'm hating. But the game's always changing, so I'm just trying to find better ways to adapt.
And I feel like another underrated part about posting on YouTube is the thumbnail. Because I know I can choose clicking on a beat purely based on the picture that the producer chose to upload it. How do you go about picking what picture for what beat? Or is it just a random catalog of pictures?
Yeah, so I have a folder, and then within that folder I have like each artist. I just have like a bunch of pictures of like that I found off like Google Images or like from different shows or different press, like photo shoots, stuff like that. And I try to match it as best as I can, or like if something in the beat references just by coincidence like something in one of the photos, I'll try to use that. But I try not to overthink it too much other than never reusing the same photo. Try to never do that. So I think I probably have slipped up a few times somewhere in there, but for most, appreciate it. Most of the part I try to I would say like maybe matching the colors in the photo, like the lighting, if it's a live photo, like if there's like LED lighting or like stage lighting in the background, it might like match the tone or vibe of the beat. If it's like an angry beat, might use red. Chill beat might use blue, like stuff like that. Or if it's just a really cool photo, you can also just use that as well.
So we've had Stoic on a few months ago, another amazing producer, and we asked him about shout out to Stoic. We talked about the YouTube producer community and kind of how you guys are close. I remember was it last year when J. Cole rapped on his beat? I feel like that was the coolest moment. I'm sure it was even cooler for you.
And the text as the cover was crazy.
So I guess I'm first curious, what was your reaction to that? And then tell me about the community that you guys have formed, like what producers you're close with, how it feels being able to connect and kind of share ideas.
Yeah, well, seeing that for Batman, I don't know him personally, but I've been, before I was making beats, I would like listen to beats on YouTube just because like I don't know, just to study too. It'd be nice to like,
Yeah.
that type of music back in high school. But yeah, seeing that was insane. It's like the stuff that like it seems like it's like a clickbait title when you first see it. You're like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, because sometimes like you'll see people like post a type beat and it's like free type beat featuring The Weeknd, and it's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
like let's like they'll put that in the title or whatever. But no, that was 100% real, of course. And yeah, just probably like the biggest moment for like type beat producers, I would say.
Yeah.
Like for like at least like that was focused on like the producer aspect of it, not like getting a placement or something like that.
Yeah.
But
It's given me personal inspiration from even the podcasting. Cause I'm like, what if an artist like that was like, fuck it, let me go on a small podcast and talk to someone. So
hmm
it's crazy, like that influence. Shout out to Cole. He's the goat.
yeah, that was crazy. There was yeah, for real. And like for the community side, I think it's cool. Because like for me, I you see a bunch of other people on YouTube doing their thing, like posting beats, and like there's a lot of talented people on there. So you come across like a bunch of people, but you might not interact with them more than just like a comment or like watching their video. And then like for me at least, like I've like stumbled across people's profiles on like Instagram or Twitter that like I've been subscribed to on YouTube for like years, and then never like reached out or like never like found them until like later. So it's just like cool to see like how everyone is like, I don't know, I guess like doing their own thing, but also like still in like a somewhat of a community. And also I think it's cool to see like where people are going with it, from like just doing type beats to like doing projects with artists, or like doing
Yeah.
working on major records, and like the stuff like all the people in Odd Status where with Russ, working on that project and stuff like that. So it's cool to see like you're able to still, do the type beats, but also expand beyond that and, keep growing. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
So now let's get into now the weekly playlist title. We use this as a way to kind of highlight how we're feeling this week and to also highlight some music that we're loving this week. So, Lim0, what is highlighting the playlist this week?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a shout out to my homie Paco. He just dropped a new EP for Go, and, the whole EP is fire, but one of them on there, super fire, Slingshot with Tommy. So I'm gonna give that my pick.
So I feel like a question that most starting producers have is they can put their beats on YouTube and they can get a couple of views, but how do you actually start working with artists? So you mentioned how, I mean, Gio found you on Twitter, but what would your advice be for artists who are trying to look for someone else to collaborate with?
For artists looking for like producers to collaborate, or producers looking for like artists to collaborate with?
Producers
Just
looking
to
for
make sure.
artists.
Yeah. So I've been trying to post more like reels and stuff recently, and just like getting my like beats out there, content that way, and just like trying to see like if anyone likes it, they can reach out. And like I have had like a few people just reach out to me that I haven't worked with from just videos that I posted, just of like beats and stuff like that. So that's like one way you can do it for sure. And also, reaching out like it's like not, I wouldn't say cold calling, but like you can reach out to people and like be like, hey, like don't just do it, don't copy and paste and be like
Yeah.
same message to everyone, but like put some thought into it and be like, and like actually like message people that would make sense, not just for you to work with, but like from like a size perspective. Like you don't want to like message Drake and be like, yo, I got beats for you.
Yeah.
Like but and like also, but like from like a genre and like sound perspective, like what would be a good fit and stuff like that. So I don't know, I don't think I try to like send out too many just like random packs to people. Like usually it's if someone DMs me and if it's right, like I'll send them some stuff, or like I can try to maybe send them one thing, just like a single beat, some stuff like that, or I can like direct them to my store.
Yeah.
So it just kind of just depends. I feel like it's case by case if artists are hitting you up in that sense, but also going the other way for producers looking for artists to work with. Not everything has to be at that moment. Also, it can be you can lay a seed and then it can develop, and later on you might work with someone.
Yeah. So what are some of the pros and cons of just making music in your room and sending it to people versus actually collaborating in the studio with the artist?
Yeah, so some pros of being in your room, you have like full control of your time. You can make whatever you want to. Um, Oftentimes, if it's you're just posting beats and no one else is on them, you get 100% of everything, or like if
Yep.
it's all you, so you don't gotta you don't have to worry about other stuff. You don't. It's on your terms, so that's a pro of that. But a negative of it being that is you're limited to your ideas and what you can contribute, and how you would approach something, and like it's I think it's fun also getting outside and like doing other stuff. So like for me,
Yeah.
I do prefer like being out in the studio, like working with people, because you sure it might not be like 100% you producing it, or like it might be you and the other homies on it, but at the end of the day I think the product is better because you can all bring something to it, like that you're like in your strong, like your strong suit. So I think the music is better at the end of the day for
Yeah.
me. They're just more unique, and also like it's if you're making music with like people you like, it's like fun to be with the homies. So
Yeah. Are there, from a business standpoint, because sadly the business side is partly just as important as the actual music you're making, are there any producers that you've kind of tried to follow what they've done? I mean, Alchemist has really led a movement independently with his record label Alch, and they've been constantly working with artist albums and coming out with merchandise. Is there anyone else that you've kind of looked at as a blueprint to follow?
no, yeah, totally. Like Alk and like Kenny and like all those guys, I think have really done a dope job of growing their brand and like themselves beyond just like music producer, like whether it be like album or like, executive, like creative, or just like you know content or whatever. But I think like something that sticks out for me is kind of like Smino and Monte, like kind of how like they came up. I talk about it with JMac, or my name isn't JMac, all the time. One of artists I work with a bunch,
Uh huh.
and also one of my close friends. But kind of like Smino and Monte came up together, just like they were making music, just doing their thing, step by step by step. And then at the end of the day, like, or now they're both huge, and like I feel like they kind of I feel like they're not the only ones that have come together, like producer and a rapper,
Yeah.
but that's kind of the way I view it. Is just like work with artists, or just like you don't have to only do it this way, but a one way
Yeah.
you can do it is work with artists, and then um, if it works out, you're both doing well at the end of the day. They're
So
like
I'm really
kind of like Joey and Static Selecta or something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
He's not only with Joey, but yeah, the Griselda
Yeah.
producers also like Conducta and like
Derringer. Yeah.
Derringer, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's. I mean, Smino. I have like 20 rappers in my top five, but I will say that Smino is in my top five, and Monte Booker. The sound
Yeah.
that they've created for each other, and I mean this as a compliment. You know when it's a Monte Booker beat. It's just there's
Exactly.
like that in the song Z for L is like the example I would use. There's like a sound in it. It's like pew, like it's always the Monte Booker. Yeah, and
Yeah. I use a drum kit all the
has
time.
yeah. So, do you ever feel the pressure? I mean, you touched on how you think your sound more jazzy, that sample cut. Do you ever feel that pressure, like, oh, I have to have like this specific sound, the way that I know it's a Monte Booker beat, or I know it's an Alchemist beat? How do you juggle that?
So like for YouTube, it's definitely more in the back of my head. At least more so in the past, I would say I would think about like, oh, I gotta flip the sample maybe a little bit more, like to make it sound like an Alchemist type beat. So like it would
Yeah.
do better in the algorithm. But now I just try to like make stuff that sounds good to me, that I like enjoy, and usually that also ends up being stuff that other people enjoy, or other artists enjoy, stuff like that. Because for
Hmm.
me, whenever I try to like clone something too directly, it ends up just taking too long and not being that good.
Yeah.
So I do try to like I'll throw in like a little inspiration, definitely, and like nothing is unique. Also, like everything is based off of prior, like what's been made before you. Like I
Yeah.
don't think like there's a wholly original idea, really. Um, so I don't know. Just I try to make stuff that I enjoy, but then also like I'll throw some references in there. Like I made a
Yeah.
beat the other day and threw like a Dilla siren in there. 'Cause I was like, fuck it,
Uh,
why not?
I'm curious
But
if you ever did this at the beginning of your career because I was working with producer and I've gone through so many different evolutions of my voice being too much of a rap voice, like lay back, use your normal voice. But the producer said to me, pick a song. He's like, choose Suede by Anderson .Paak. It's one of my favorite songs ever. He's like,
Yep.
record the song like you're Anderson .Paak and then send it to me. And then he's like, he had me do a bunch of songs and just like rap like you're that artist. Did you ever in the beginning of your career try to replicate beats? Like, let me try to redo this Mac Miller beat and see if I can get it how he did it.
Never, I wouldn't say like exactly 100%, but there have been like when I was especially like very starting off like early, like I think I did do a few. Yeah, no, I totally did a few flips of same sample and then like same style, like the Madlib like What a Day beat. I did like a flip of that and like I did like 2 BPM faster and like 3 semitones higher. Or, like wasn't that much different, but it was just like I don't know. I just wanted to like see how I thought Madlib like or like I knew how he flipped it because you can hear it and like you can see the original song and what the flip sounds like, but like actually like going in and like working with the original audio, trying to make it sound like Madlib did was like a cool exercise. But like you don't want to be stuck doing that forever because you got to do your own stuff eventually.
Yeah.
But I think it has a purpose for like an exercise or something. I wouldn't like release that, especially if you're like a rapper and you're like doing like a cover song.
Oh no, never. It was
I get what you mean, though.
yeah, purely to find how to use my voice correctly. But I've tried to get into beat making multiple times. I mean, with anything in art, you're gonna suck for like a year plus at it. So it's definitely been a tough battle. But I remember trying to replicate the Diablo beat just to see like how do I layer drums and how do I change a sample and how do I do this. So I think it has like helpful things at the beginning, but obviously you have to create your own sound at some point.
Yeah, no, I love that beat too. Great album faces.
Oh my god!
I wish they would have cleared the original sample for the final version, but it's all good. I understand why. It's like a Coltrane sample, so that's not. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, hey, you can still go on SoundCloud if you want to hear that one. I've rapped.
Yeah, I got it on my local files.
my third song ever is over Diablo, and then I think I've rapped over like 3 songs on that album. It's so
the instrumentals on there are so good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Let's get into your new beat tape. Go Figure is out now. Go stream it. Some beautiful beats. Yeah. So, are you a big beat tape guy? Because I know we asked Stoic this question, and he said personally he does not like making beat tapes. But obviously, there's been amazing beat tapes, such as it was just the anniversary of J Dilla's Donuts. So, what made you want to come and release out your own tape?
Yeah, so for me, I've been collecting records for longer than I've been producing. Just out of love for music and stuff like that. Yeah. So I wanted to do something with them, and I've been working on a producer album, similar type concept where it's all vinyl samples, all from like my collection that I've been procuring or whatever throughout the years. For like my grandma will send me records, and I'm like trying to make a beat out of them.
That's awesome.
It'd be like some old like 40s music, but sometimes it works out. It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, but go figure. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of like Madlib beat tapes and that sound and that type of project, I guess, with like just vocal samples, random vocal samples coming in, short songs, beat switches, stuff like that. And I don't want to say it's like an ode to that because that sounds like kind of weird, but it was definitely like, that's why I was like listening to a lot of that stuff when I was making it. And also I think I'm not the type of person like always be making beat tapes, but kind of just like when the inspiration hits, I wanted to do it. And I had like some time at the end of the year. It was, year wrapping up, and I kind of wanted to have it ready to go at the start of this year. So I was just working on it at the end of last year, and basically like taking old ideas that I had and like never fully realized them or stuff like that, or even sometimes like beats that I had flipped on my YouTube channel, or not beats, but a sample on my YouTube channel, like a flip of it, and then I found the record eventually. And like re-recorded it, redid the beat like in a new like better way, stuff like that. Like not like a YouTube to MP3 recording flip. So yeah, like I don't know. For me, it was just a kind of more creative exercise. I wanted to test the waters. I hadn't dropped anything since 2020 on like all platforms, and I'm trying to do more stuff out there. So just making sure I had like all my DSP stuff in order. It was a little frustrating. Title was fine, but 2 Lost. It wasn't their fault. I don't think account is like a lowercase. So Lim0 is like Lim0 whatever, but the L in my 2Ls account is lowercase, and then my Spotify and Apple Music is uppercase L. And I went to the wrong profile because of that, so I had to fix that. But I think so. It was like also like working out the bugs, just a beat tape. Not I have a project with features and stuff from artists, so trying to finish that up. But I wanted to just get the tape out ahead of that, and
To give you a quick story about the annoying independent distributors, because they try their best. But I was uploading an album.
All love to them.
I was uploading an album like 4 years ago to DistroKid with a beat that I purchased from, I forget what producer it was. And when I uploaded the album, it said this song has been used before. Like it's already been uploaded. And it gave me a specific name title. And I looked at the song Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and it did not exist. Whatever song they said I was copying did not exist. And maybe the artist used that beat and took it down. I don't know. But I was like, fuck. Like, it kind of screwed me.
Yeah, sometimes I've seen that. Sometimes that it can be like their song is also being uploaded in the system at that time, and like it's not yet released, but like they have some like content ID on theirs from their side, and they're like attacking everybody. Like I've had like my own beats on YouTube get claimed for songs that I produced.
That's crazy.
Just the way it is. You just gotta send the dispute in, and you'll get released. But
I saw someone tweet about this, that when people do that, they'll take credit and say, like, this person's copying me, that YouTube automatically believes the person filing the claim right away and will, like, suspend someone's entire account. And they're like, yo, this person just copied my music and released it as themselves. And it's like...
It's pretty crazy. Because YouTube, you can, like, content ID will file, and, like, it's up to you, the person who gets claimed against, to file, like... counter, like just be like, yo, this isn't right, and like for them to like go review it and like release the claim or whatever. So it's not like they don't give you but then at the end of the day, like, you could just hit no to all of those, I guess, and then like no claims to go through. So I get maybe why it's up to you have to go in and like dispute it, but it does feel like a little bit broken that anything even like vague, like even like I've had like if I had a beat with like a splice sample for the melody and someone else used that splice sample, and you're not supposed to run that through content ID because it's like a royalty free thing. And then they're like different beat, different totally thing, and we just use the same source material, and they're claiming my stuff now. It's just the way it's just the algorithm too. It's not them selecting my video also.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lim0, thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to give you a space to shout out anything that's happening right now. First, your social medias, your YouTube, but also any new music that's coming or anything's coming your way. Let us know.
Yeah, appreciate that. So my YouTube's at Lim0, Lim0, and then I also got a collab channel, Gutty plus Lim0. Then my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter is at Lim0 Music. Got hopefully finish up my producer album, get that wrapped up on the way, and then also got just a lot of other music coming out that I produced for the homies. So just be on the lookout for that. Should be some cool announcements coming soon. So yeah, I'm excited for this year. Thank you for having me as well.
Of course, man. If you made it this far into the podcast, please like, subscribe to his channel as well. It is amazing. And we will see you next time. We are out. Peace.